أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Shafi Beroslan. My number is 050113. I'm from program Bachelor of Degree Islamic Study Usuluddin. Today I will present the assignment, the most famous philosophical school in the beginning of translation. There are four the most famous philosophical school in the beginning of translation. First, Alexandria School. This school teaching the new form or method from principle of plate philosophy. The new philosophy was called as Neoplatonism. The Neoplatonism is a mixture from Plato teaching, Christian, Judaism, Eastern mysticism. This school using Syriac language beside the Greek language. This is a charge of education in this school with Christian, Nestorian, the Jacob. The second school that famous in the beginning of translation is Ar-Roha School. Ar-Roha School is the most important in the beginning of translation. It is because the dialect of Ar-Roha has reached a degree that makes it suitable for being a language to be written. This school was closed in 489 because the teachers who were teaching in it were Nestorian in their faith. But this school was opened again in his peace and won the support of the Senate at the time for political reasons. That's all from me. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Abdul Hadi bin Uzik, number metric 050047 from Usuluddin, semester 7, class A. I will continue for my group, the most famous philosophical school in the beginning of translation, number 3 and number 4. Okay, for number 3, Haran School. Haran is a city in the island country next to Edessa. This city had a special place in science, especially after the Arab conquest. In this city, the paganism of the ancient Semite was connected with mathematical, astronomical research and with the theory of the Neoplatonic doctrine. They gathered for the late Greek era, and many of them had close contact with the scholars of the Persians and Al-Gharb in the 8th and 9th centuries, and many of them were active in translation and transmission. And number 4 is Jun Yasabu School. It is city built by Sabu bin Azdashir. It was inhabited by Sil-Arum and some of soldiers. So it was called Yasabu soldier, and during the reign of Kisra Anushirwan, about the year 531 to 579 Masihi. A school for philosophical and medical studies was established in the city, and most of those was taught in were Nestorian Christian, and since Kisra was among those inclined to study mentality and they are passionate about it, his tolerance include both of the Nestorian four and Jacobi. That's all from me. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, my name is Muhammad Ali Fikri bin Imran. My matrix number is 050107. Inshallah, I will present about translation and translators. Some of the Syriacs in the school of Alexandria, and they moved to their countries to have private schools where they teach students Greek philosophy, and they support the Christian sects. And the Nestorians in Iraq and Persia, and the transmission began in the 4th century Al-Masihi into the Syriac language, and continued until the Abbasid state in the 8th century Al-Masihi and the 2nd century Al-Hijri. When the Abbasids came, they meant the transfer of these philosophical sciences into the Arabic language, and they were particularly fond of the sciences and philosophy of Greece and the literature and wisdom of the Persians, and the real transmissions of philosophical sciences began during the era of Abu Ja'far al-Mansur in the 2nd century Al-Hijri, and transmission flourished during the era of Al-Ma'mun. And the last, the translators were not just a move, but they were opinion holders sometimes, and therefore they took care of these translated sciences, and they put the specific introductions which explain the foundations of the science that the book deals with, and more than that.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Hakim bin Shamsuddin, metric number 050363 from ISM Usuluddin A, and I will continue the presentation of my friends. The next is Galen in his book on morals, translate counterfeit books. Among these counterfeit books, a book by Plato includes the Book of Apple and the Book of the Divinity of Aristotle. The two books links to him are wrong, though not from his writing. Modern research shows that they asked him because they were contrary to his doctrinal principle and general character. Thus, some scholars believe that the book is not for Aristotle, but a rumor of Socrates, and there is a copy of the manuscript in the Tamuri Library in Egyptian book house entitled Apple Book Expert of Socrates, and the speaker in it, the philosopher Socrates. Number 1. A book by Plato in which the dialogue revolved around Socrates, so it was attributed to Socrates and was not attributed to Plato. And number 2, it also includes the Book of Apple and the Book of Aristotle Lordship. These two book attributes to him are mistaken, although they are not from his writing. The modern research indicates that they are asking him because they contradict the principle of his doctrine and its general character. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Muhammad Zulkifli bin Muhammad Khalid, metric number 050992, and inshallah I will continue my friend presentation just now, and this is the conclusion, which is, and the ruling after attributing this book to Aristotle is based on the fact that this book includes the saying that souls survive, and Aristotle says that they perish, and saying the virtue, knowledge and science and vice is sentences. Thus, rather he sees enjoying the pleasures of life and benefiting from it, as there is no life after that. That is why some scholars believe that this book is not for Aristotle, but is for Socrates Associations, and there is a manuscript copy of it in the Timurid Library in the Egyptian House of Books entitled Summary of the Apple Book of Socrates, and the speaker in it is the philosopher Socrates. And the ruling that this book is not for Aristotle presupposes that this book contains inspiration and elegance, and Aristotle does not say about them. And it contains the statement that the human soul has an independent prior existence and that it remains after the annihilation of bodies. And Aristotle says of the unity of form and matter, and that souls are not separated from bodies. He believes that they perish with the annihilation of bodies. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Ashraf Rifai bin Masaman, metric number 050702. Okay, we continue this presentation about the reason to attribute these books to other than its authors. The first reason is it may be intended to popularize it among the people we attributing to the famous people in philosophy and science. Next reason is they want to bring the Christian religion closer to philosophy. Third reason, its teachings were based on mixing religion with philosophy and on explaining some doctrines with others while dealing them with the Eastern mystical color, and this mixture becomes studied as a belief rather than a philosophy. Lastly, the reason is the degeneration of the philosophical mind at that time.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Nur Fahmi bin Nasaruddin, nombor metrik 050648. I will present about the most famous translator. They will translate from Greek and Syriac language to Arabic language. Among of them is Hunayn ibn Ishaq al-Ibadi. He was a Christian and he got Al-Ma'mun Trust to translate book. Next is his son Ishaq bin Hunayn and his nephew Habish bin Al-Assam is also a translator. Among of them was Kasta bin Luwa al-Baqi. He was a Christian. Among of them is Abu Bishru Matta bin Yunus and Yahya bin Batrik, the guardian of Al-Ma'mun. They translate many books many of Aristotle book. Next is Al-Hajjaj bin Matar. He translate the Al-Majaz book by Ptolemy, which is a book on astronomy, and Euclid's book on geometry, and other translator. Wallahu a'lam.